Hello and welcome to Burning Issues, the only program that provides you with a regular glimpse inside the Wichita Fire Department. I am Andy Cole, and in this episode we will talk about the physical toll that firefighters go through and how they work to prepare themselves for the job. I am joined today with firefighters Mike Maloney and Cornelius Morgan. We call him Mo. And can you tell us a little bit about yourselves, Mike?
Yes, I'm Mike. I've been on the job for 18 years. I've been out at Station 16s, 14s, and 18s, where I currently reside at.
And Mo?
I'm Cornelius Morgan. I've been on the job for about 8 years. I'm currently at 18, stationed with Mike Maloney. I've been at stations 5, 8s, 17s, and like I said, right now I'm at 18s, working for the fire department.
Okay. We're talking about the physical tolls that we go through on the job, and one of the things that always kind of intrigued me is how heavy the gear is. How heavy is the gear we put on when you put on your PPE, your SCBA, etc.?
Well, minimum, once you put your gear on, air pack, it weighs about 70 pounds. And then that doesn't include additional tools like toolbox, medical bag, pike pole, or ladder. So you kind of take that into consideration as far as when you're going in the fire. You do have to carry a lot of equipment. You do have to have good grip strength.
And Mo, when you have all this equipment on, some of these tools you carry, that adds additional weight, and also additionally takes a larger toll as far as physical.
Yeah, it does take a toll on the body, Chief. And not just does it add weight to it, but it also adds bulk. It gives you a different way to have to move your bodies or position your body throughout the house, throughout the building, or whatever, but it does take a lot of toll on the body. Your
dexterity and all that stuff as far as
sir.
grabbing stuff. When you guys pull up to a scene and you put all your gear on, you've got to grab hose, you've got to drag it to the fire, plus the fire takes a toll too, the heat from the fire.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess we're required to work under strenuous conditions up under heat, which puts a lot of stress on your body and causes you to perspire a lot. So that's why I think nutrition would be a good foundation if you're going to be on the fire department, is to have that in line, because it does take a toll on you.
Okay, we talked about nutrition. Can you elaborate on the nutrition you recommend as far as?
For as me, recommend, I would somewhere go around half a gallon of water just to stay hydrated, because if you start off the day dehydrated, get a fire, you're going to be dehydrated real quick because we're perspiring a lot. You got to make sure you get good breakfast in the morning time, a lunch, and a dinner. And then in between, you probably want some snacks. Nothing, I say not fast food, because it has a toll on me. Now, it might have some different effects on somebody else, but as far as me, I have to keep it clean because I know how my body reacts to certain foods.
Yeah, I like the point that Mike brought out earlier about hydration, how he drinks water. A rule of thumb to go by that I was taught at one time was, as firefighters, if we were to, before we went to bed at night, if we urinated clear, we're properly hydrated for the next shift. So just in case we get there at 6:30, 6:45, or 7 o'clock in the morning, when those horns go off and those lights come on and it says house fire, building fire, we're already ahead of the game as far as being hydrated and don't have to worry about too many things as far as being dehydrated at that time.
Now it's getting cool out. We're towards the end of October, leading in November. Is hydration important still?
Yes, it's very important. I think the problem that we have is, being it's cool out and we take in water, it cools the body, so we tend not to drink as much. But we need to still take in adequate water.
Yeah, one thing about, I guess the guys I work with right now is they're really good about reminding you to drink. I know Mike here, if I have maybe a soda, he's like, man, Morgan, what are you doing? Put that soda down. You need some water. And even though I'm not thirsty, I still have to drink, because not only is it good for me, but if I'm dehydrated, I'm not good to the citizens that I serve.
I know it's difficult for myself. I mean, I get in the habit of drinking coffee and not drinking enough water and stuff like that. But I know you guys recommend water, correct?
Right.
Water.
And the reason why I do not recommend coffee, because it's a stimulant. When you get into a fire, you're already going to have your heart racing. So you don't want to have that continue to be racing all day. And then when we go into rehab, then you can't get your blood pressure down where it needs to be, or your heart rate. So that it just puts more stress on it. So I'd rather let you eat right instead of just taking stuff to keep you up, and just rely on your diet, more of a clean diet, and then stems. What stems would be coffee, pre-workouts, and that type of stuff.
You know, a lot of people also, they're under the perception that a person needs electrolytes, drinking Gatorades and different health drinks like that. And I've also, it's come to my attention that if you drink half-strength Gatorade, you get some electrolytes, but you mainly get a lot of water, because our body will get electrolytes from the food that we eat, the proper nutrition, and things like that.
You know, when I came to this battalion, I've been with you guys now about 7-8 months. I was always really impressed every time I come out, looking at the way you guys carried yourself, the way you guys were always drinking water, the way you guys eat. I'm trying to learn. I obviously don't always obey what you guys say, and I wish I did, because I'd be a lot better off. But the physical fitness thing is another thing I'd like to follow up on. Is you guys have challenged me. I mean, I've always worked out, always did some cardio, always done some lifting, but you guys have challenged me on how to take that to another level. Can you explain how you guys do to prepare yourself as far as tying in physical fitness to our job?
Okay, yeah. What we do right now is called interval training, CrossFit. I mean, different names for different exercises, of course. But in firefighting, you go from 0 to 60 in a matter of seconds. And so in order to prepare ourselves for this, Chief, we may, for example, hop on a treadmill and sprint for 15 seconds, get off, jump rope, cool down, get our heart rate up really quick, bring it back down, and then do it right again. That's how we simulate us as far as prepare our bodies for fighting fire.
Yeah, that he does bring a good point in there, because I see a lot of guys do long distance running, but that doesn't simulate the strenuous taxing on the heart rate, as far as, you know, the stress levels, the heat, and all that type of stuff. I think you should mix it up, both. You know, have some long distance, some slow cardio, and then I should think you should mix it up with possibly some interval training. Interval training is just, if you want to get in shape, it helps you get in shape a lot quicker. It just taxes a different type of muscle when you do that.
And that's one thing I noticed when I was talking to you guys when I first got with this battalion, was the interval training. I mean, I run a mile or two. Then the next day I do lifting weights, and I did the heavy set, and then rested for 2 or 3 minutes, and the heavy set, then rested for 2 or 3 minutes. And what I learned from you guys is do that weightlifting, maybe not quite so heavy, and incorporate the cardio with it, so you're taxing your body, and like you said, keep bringing your heart rate up, let rest a little bit, keep bringing it up.
Yeah, really the best thing would probably be for firefighting is circuit training, where you perform one exercise right after another, doing so many reps, kind of simulate us being in a fire, you know, either pulling ceilings, dragging hose, you know, or that type of stuff, and then take a rest for a hot second, and then get back on it again. And it just helps you prepare the stress levels that you're gonna come into when you encounter a fire.
Because that's what you guys do, correct? When you pull up to a fire, you go from resting, get the alarm, and there's another thing with that, is when we get the alarm, your pulse jumps, sometimes they say 30, 40 beats a minute, just on that, the stress from the alarm, the anticipation, if you will.
Yeah, it does. I know when I hear alarms, if I'm driving, I can sometimes catch myself, nervous, thinking, okay, can I get her fast enough? Can I get her safe enough? Because I have, 3 other guys with me that I get there safe. And, you worry about them as far as, are they going to be okay? So a lot goes to your mind, and your pulse rate does elevate to a certain extent.
It jumps up, and then once you get there, you go from that, like you said, 0 to 60. You're taxing your whole body, putting all the gear on in the hot environment, where it's cold environment or whatever. We go from a comfortable setting to a not comfortable setting, what it comes right down to.
Right. I try to, for me personally, I try not to get so anxious. I try to relax and try to have a level head, because you can't raise your heart rate, because you can find yourself sometimes holding your breath, putting your clothes on, your bunker gear on, and you don't want to do that. You just want to take your time, being able to see what's going on and be able to make the right decision instead of making it out of anxiousness. It's just trying to get there on time and stuff. So what Mo said, it's a lot of stress driving, getting people there safe and a quick time.
Well, I know I've learned a lot from both of you guys since I've been out there. I mean, through nutrition, through the working out changes, I've changed a lot of my working out as far as the way I do work out, and I've noticed a difference on how I am personally as far as physical fitness. But I'm in a role now where I don't do the physical requirements that you guys do as much. I do from time to time, but I still remember how difficult it is. So, do you guys have anything else you'd like to add? I mean, as far as Mike, do you want to elaborate on like how you eat or what you recommend to eat? I mean, I know you are stricter than the rest of us, but
Okay, yeah, basically I have 4 to 5 meals a day: breakfast, snack, lunch, another snack, and dinner, and then possibly a snack, just depending on if I'm hungry. I take in my water because water helps kind of curb the appetite, because sometimes we can get a false signal saying that, you know, I'm hungry, but really we're thirsty. And my main motto as I continue to be on the fire department, the older I get, the stricter my diet has to get, because my body does not recover as quick as if I was younger, and it just helps me as far as reducing the weight gain, because we run into a lot of weight gain at the fire station because of unhealthy eating habits.
you see that a lot at the station. Sometimes we eat 2 big meals instead of 5 or 6 small ones, and that's really not the way to do it, right, Mo?
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. I'm guilty of it sometimes, but I have noticed that when I do eat 2 big meals versus a small meals a day, there is a big difference in the way I feel and the way I perform for the citizens. So yeah, I would definitely prefer to eat, you know, sometimes 4 or 5 or 6 small meals versus eating 2 really big meals throughout the day.
Well, you guys have anything else you'd like to add? I appreciate the information. Like I say, I've learned a lot. Hopefully everybody out here will learn a lot, and maybe we can all follow what we should do. We don't, like you said, we don't always do it. I don't always do it, but we try to.
Yeah, all I can say as far as nutrition, working out, you know, if you haven't been doing it, just take baby steps. You know, if it comes to nutrition, start out with 1 meal a week. Start out preferably with the breakfast. Continue to get that each day of the week for 7 days, and then the next day you will add in a meal, just so you can be consistent at keeping a clean meal. And then eventually you'll have 4 to 5 meals a day, and you'll be on a regimen, because your body seems to reject when you just try to do it all at once. So just kind of ease into it.
Yeah, that's, you know, the nutrition, and like Mike said, as far as working out as well, just take baby steps, because, you know, say, Chief, you run a mile, 2 miles, no problem, and the average person may not be able to do that. So if they can only run 1 block or a quarter of a mile at one time, it's good. Just the next time you do it, just increase it. Don't just try to rush into it, because when you do it, you hurt your body, and then, you know, bad things happen from that portion on.
One of the things that I've really noticed since I've gotten older, I'm approaching 50 here next month, and people my age, the friends of mine, they still think they could do what they did when they was 25. So they started out running 2 miles, and they haven't ran any in 10 years. And it is the baby steps. That's what I always tell everybody too. I'm learning that from you guys. The baby steps, and the other thing is the heavy weights. It isn't so important on how much weight you're using. It's the quality of the weight you're doing.
Right.
Okay, Mike, do you have any recommendations as far as how to get started, as far as a warm-up period, if you will?
Yeah, my warm-up consists of 10 minutes walking, then followed by a stretching routine, because you don't want to stretch a cold muscle. You want to warm that up, and then start your stretching. The reason why I say stretch is because when we get to a fire, if you go beyond what your muscles can, beyond what they can stretch, you'll tear something. So it's always good to be pretty limber as far as when you're moving around and stuff, because you don't want to hurt anything.
Well, Mike and Mo, thank you very much for the information you've given us, and thank you for sharing it. And I hope we all can do better, and we all learn something from this.
Well, cheers.
Thank you.
That concludes this episode of Burning Issues. Remember, Wichita firefighters are highly trained professionals who are your friends and neighbors. We are Wichita's bravest, and we serve you 24 hours a day, every day.